I'm going to show you how we built a movable TV set in our workshop. So we wanted to create a room that looked like a real room in somebody's house, round about 4 meters in length by 3 meters wide. We started off by building these frames, and I had some recycled MDF sheets, so we fixed them to the frames to stiffen it up and make it that bit stronger, because we knew we'd be applying a lot of weight on the wall further down the line. Once they were lined up in position, we balanced them at first, then took some off-cut battens and screwed and fixed them to the joist above in the ceiling to hold them upright. Checked that they were level and then screwed them together. Once they were in position and stable, we then started to cover the face of them with a standard 8 foot by 4 foot plasterboard, putting these on just like you would in a normal house. Driving our screws in about every 8 to 10 inches apart. The boys was lift the second one in place, butt it up to the first one, jack it up off the floor a fraction, and then again fire the screws in, holding it into position. The full free board spanned 3.6 meters across. There was still a couple of 100mm either end. And removed the battens from the base, and that was our one wall now almost complete. The next stage was to consider side walls. The back wall is now complete. It's fixed to the ceiling to hold it up. We've put some plasterboards on the one side. I'm now going to build some stud work to do 2 side walls here. However, I want them side walls for when we're not using the studio to be able to fold in on one another. So I'm going to use a thing called piano hinges on both sides. Now one of them will fold in nice and flush against this wall. However, this one won't. When it comes along this way, it's going to catch this. So I need to step it out. And I do that by getting 2 pieces of 3B2, fixing them into the one side here, building it out about 100mm. And that way, when this second wall is fixed on, it will fold down flush on top of that one. Now the 2 side movable walls are going to be a little bit more lightweight. So we're building the frames out of 3B2 this time. It's only cheap, rough sawn timber. We created almost a square, screwing them in at each corner. Once the frame was built, we marked along 1200mm wide to suit the plasterboard size. Again, screwing these in with large 4-inch screws should hold them firmly into position. Then between each plasterboard, you need another strut in the centre. Again, these are driven in with the long 4-inch screws, holding them firmly into position. A couple of noggins in between to stop any movement. And that's one wall almost complete. It's hinged and it's holding itself upright. Then we turned our attention to the opposite side, where we were building the same size frame, of course, but making this a little bit different, of course, because no room would be complete without a door. So as you can see, the noggins only went on either side, and we kept the opening for the door in the centre. So Keith screwed the hinges into position, checked it was flapping. We lifted and fixed the second movable panel in place. Steve and Keith give it one check to see if it swung okay. Now either side of these movable doors we need to fit wheels. So we took a few extra pieces of timbers, cut these down, plenty of glue and screws on them, and secured the corner up, making it wider and stronger to take the wheel, which consequently takes the weight of the whole wall. Bearing in mind there's going to be plasterboards on this too, and even tiling further down the line. There we go, that seems to be pushing in either side with the wheels in place, and both walls close together nice and neat. A couple of extra noggins at the top and the bottom before we start putting on the plasterboard. Keep focused on the opening size, ready to fit the door frame. Again, it was only a soft wood, lightweight door frame notched out, screwed together and then set into position. Once Keith had it set and levelled, he screwed it into the frame. Removing the temporary batten that held it open. Now on these walls that are moving, we're keeping these a little bit lighter, so we're not putting a sheet of MDF on first, we're just covering them with plasterboard. It's quick and easy to cut, and of course you screw it through the plasterboard into the frame behind. I hung the door, got that swinging, then it was pretty much complete on the inside structure of the frame. So all we needed to do then is plasterboard the outside of the moving walls. We cut up some skirting boards, offered them into position along with some architrave around the door. Once we were happy with that, that was glued and pinned into position. So now the plasterboards are firmly screwed to the wooden studwork. The next stage is to skim the plasterboards. Plastering can be quite a messy job if you haven't done it before. But mix it up with some nice clean water and a large paddle and drill. Once you've got a nice slushy mix just like this, with no lumps and bumps in it, start to spread it out using your trowel and float. It is quite a slow, long-winded job, so I won't let you sit there and watch the whole room. Just like magic, it's now done and almost dry. A couple of handles either side to help pull the walls when we want to close them over. So that's my TV set now complete here in the Mr. and Mrs. DIY workshop. Don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. So now we had our set built, we concentrated the first month or two on creating Frenchic Paint online videos. Then bare plastered walls, of course, needed painting, so we showed people different methods, from using paintbrushes, rollers, and even a small handheld paint sprayer. Then we fitted a wooden tongue and groove floor, because lots of the questions we get asked is, can you use Frenchic Paint to paint them? Now when painting the door and frame, we used two different colours on the inside and outside. The tip was showing people where you stop and start with your different colours. I built an MDF shelving unit and we showed about how you seal the edges before you actually paint them. Then we got creative using a gradient scallop effect by mixing a number of different Frenchic colours. The set then quickly got changed into a bathroom for a number of tile mounting and bathroom mounting online videos. I tiled some of the walls. A couple of videos were showing people how to fit a designer radiator and an electric towel rail. We then installed a floating vanity unit, fitted the sink, plumbed in hot and cold water and drains. Then we installed a mixer shower, then a corner shower enclosure with a sliding door. Again, the hot and cold feed was plumbed. As fast as the room was complete, the wall tiles and floorboards were ripped up and redone for the next lot of videos. Then in preparation for floor tiles, we covered the entire floor with large cement boards. Once the floor was done, we then covered all three walls, again in preparation for the wall tiles. Once we completed our floor tiles, we went on to produce about another 20 different online videos for bathroom and tile mounting. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mr. and Mrs. DIY, for all your top tip videos.